Lesson 04. Find slope and write equations of lines. All right, let's say we have a line. Well, how much is it inclined or how much is it sloped? Well, I don't know. Here are 2 points on the line. We'll call them x1, y1 and x2, y2. You could make a right triangle showing how far it goes up from the first point to the second point. We'll call that the rise. And how far it goes sideways between the 2 points. We'll call that the run. Slope we describe as the rise over the run. Well, the rise is just the difference in the y values. And the run is just the difference in the x values. So our slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and we use m for slope for some reason. In word problems, if it says rate of change means slope. If the slope is positive, then the line rises from left to right. If there is 0 slope, that would be like 0 over 4. That's horizontal because it has 0 rise and some run. The slope is negative, it falls from left to right. And if there's no slope or an undefined slope, that would be like 4 over 0. There's some rise, but there's 0 run, so it doesn't go sideways, it just goes up and down. Call that no slope. Well, this nice little person went out for a walk one day, walked up the positive slope, walked sideways across the 0 slope, down the negative slope, and then, whoa! They fell down because there was no slope to stand on. All right, so let's determine the slope and then say if it rises, falls, is horizontal or vertical. So here's a pair of points. Let's find the slope. All right, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's call my first point x1, y1, and my second point I'll call x2, y2. So y2 is 7, y1 is 3. x2 is negative 1, x1 is 7. So that gives me 4 over negative 8, or negative 1/2 if I reduce it, and that falls because it's negative. Try another one. Again, our slope is y2 minus y1 for x2 minus x1. I'll call my first point x1, y1, second point x2, y2. Plug those in. y2 is negative 1, y1 is 1. x2 is 7, x1 is 7. It gets me negative 2 over 0. Now remember, you can't divide by 0. You say it's undefined, or you say there is no slope. No slope and the slope being 0 are different. 0 slope is horizontal. No slope is vertical. This is vertical. All right. Let's talk about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines are on the same plane and do not intersect, like railroad tracks. They go in the same direction, as long as the railroad tracks don't turn. And the slopes are the same. Perpendicular lines form a T. They intersect to form a right angle. the slopes are negative reciprocals, or the products of the slopes is -1, such as 2/3 and -3/2. They're reciprocals because the top and bottom flipped and they change signs. That makes them negative reciprocals. Or if you multiply them together, you get -1. All right, here are two lines. Let's determine whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So how shall we do that? Well, we could find the slope. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's take line 1. I'm going to call this x1, y1. The second point, x2, y2. All right, so y2 is -4. I'll just call the slope 1. y1 is 8. x2 is 2. x1 is -2. So it's -12 over 4, because remember, minus a minus is a plus. Looks like it's -3. Line 2, I'll call it slope 2. y2 is 2, y1 is 1. x2 is -2, x1 is -5. Looks like it's 1 over, minus a negative is plus, so -2 plus 5 is 3, 1/3. All right, so you can look at those and say, they are negative reciprocals. One's negative, the other's positive, and they are reciprocals. Or, if you'd like, if you multiply them together, you get -1, which means they are perpendicular. All right, so that was slopes. Now, how do we use that to write equations of lines? Well, if we know the slope and y-intercept, you can use slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. For all other lines, you need to find the slope, and you need a point, and then you can use what's called point-slope form, which is actually just comes right from the slope formula. But anyway, you can fill in the slope and the x1 and y1, and you just solve it for y, and it gives you the equation of your line. All right, find the equation of line that passes through -1, 6 and has a slope of 4. Well, I have a slope, so that's m, and I have a point. We'll call it x1, y1. So I know my slope, I know my point, so then I can use my point-slope form. y1 is 6, my slope is 4, x1 is -1. Now notice x and y are x and y. Yes, that's on purpose. They're not filled in. Minus a minus is a plus, so it's x plus 1. We could distribute, so that'd be 4x plus 4. And let's solve it for y. So we'll add 6 to get the y by itself. 4x plus 10. That is the equation of our line to that point with that slope. Let's try another one. How about a line that passes through those 2 points? Well, step 1 is we needed to find the slope. Well, let's find our slope. We'll call this maybe x1, y1, and this x2, y2. All right, so m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 0. y1 is 2. x2 is 10. x1 is -1. So like it's -2 over 11. Oh, that's a great slope. Is it wrong because we got a weird fraction? No, it's just a number. It works. Now we need a point. You have to decide which point's going to be easier. Well, probably the one with the zeros. So I'm going to use my point 10, 0. You could use the other point. It doesn't matter. But we're going to put it into our point slope form. So our y1 here is the 0. Our slope is negative 2/11. And our x1 is the 10. Now, why you say, didn't I use the same one as up here? You can. You'll get the same answer. This one's easier, though, because y minus 0 is y. Then we just distribute. Negative 2/11 x plus, if you multiply a fraction times a whole number, put it over 1 and multiply across, that'd be positive 2 times 10 over 11 times 1. And there's the equation of your line. In a chemistry experiment, you record temperatures to be negative 5 degrees Fahrenheit 1 minute after you begin. 6 minutes after you begin, the temperature is 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Write a linear equation to model this. Well, it sounds like I got 2 points. Here's 1 point. Usually time goes first, so it'll be 1 minute, negative 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Our second point is 6 minutes and 20 degrees Fahrenheit, so that'd be 6:20. All right, first thing we need to find is the slope. So we'll call this x1, y1, and x2, y2. Our slope is y2 minus y1. For x2 minus x1, y2 is 20, y1 is negative 5. x2 is 6, x1 is 1. So it's 25 over 5, or 5. And our units would be, what was on top was the degrees Fahrenheit, on the bottom was our minutes. So our rate of change is 5 degrees Fahrenheit per minute. So now we need our point. Let's just use the 1, negative 5. It's there. Yay. All right. Either point will work. And then our point slope. So our point is negative 5. For the y, our slope is 5. And our x1 is 1. Let's distribute. Subtract the 5. So it looks like we have y equals 5x minus 10. Oh, wait. It's not going to be our best answer because these things stand for something. What was the 1 and the 6? Where the x's are. Oh, that was time. So instead of x, why don't I use a t for time? And what was the y's, the negative 5 and the negative 20? Temperature? Usually that's a capital T. So in word problems, usually you use letters to represent the problem. Have a good day.